are here on this land, our land and our home, and the mother of all mothers is our own mother, Africa.
Na se sadia e wo se ye koro na ye boa na fidi hwanya e ko ni nchi ne daachi no ye Africa ma eye krabebe.
And if that is the case, then it means we need unity. We need to become one across the Atlantic Ocean, on the continent, and in the new world. We need to become one in order to build a better future for ourselves and our offsprings, so that those who follow and those who came first will be proud of what we will also leave behind for those who will follow us.
Eti egunsa ama ye nananom a ekoro no onwa begibianom ama onwa ma ya hoden ama ye nyakoro ye ne ntiase ne adwene ne yako adinim ama tuntum ya hire wo baabia.
So as we met now, we're going to pour libation to remember our ancestors and honor them. We pour libation on Mother Earth, also to pay tribute to Mother Earth. And we pour libation, call on the Almighty Supreme Being to help unite us, to be strong and to be productive, so that we can leave behind a strong heritage for generations to come. Open the drink and let us share the hearts.
Onyankropon chedi apon zio otite kwafra moa zio onyame abo okubo okabo okaraka nsoroma zio akira wonson zio asasi akwanyira moa zio una agi afunu zio na asami aduane die zio na na wonsanie obiri konfo no chinson zio subiantu adunson zio sawi adwumonson zio yachiko binson zio atikro bonson zio Etiata non so.
Memory is the afterglow of vision cast by faith, burning through the fog of time to guide the way of all tomorrows. Now welcome home these ancestral bones, silent witnesses of our noble heritage. Truth rides upon us and makes us strong. Pride in our past, faith for our future, and hope undimmed by all our ancient fears.
We know from the depths of our souls that these studies are not just about bones, but rather about the story the bones tell, a story of the earliest history of the enslavement of Africans in North America, of their physical hardships and their abilities, the cultures that they came from, into traditions that they preserved, and the traditions that they changed. We would not have been able to undertake this historic research had it not been for the wisdom and perseverance of concerned members of the African community in New York City. And their outrage about the original handling of the burial ground remains and their demands that African American scholars direct the research of these remains led to the homecoming we celebrate here today. It is, of course, a temporary homecoming. When we complete our studies, the remains will be reburied at their original site, as they should be, which has been declared a national landmark.
The bones have been talking to us for a long time, and the bones obviously continue to talk to us now. And as Dr. Blakely and others and his colleagues take them into the laboratory, they will speak even more loudly, and the words will resound to every corner of the world. For we are living in a time that is spoken of in the ancient mythology, that the phoenix would rise. Every 500 years, the phoenix rises again. 500 years they have covered, lied about, kept away from, buried, separated us from the knowledge of who we are and our anteriority and preeminence on planet Earth. The time has come when you cannot keep that which is reality and truth no longer buried in the ground. The bones are getting up. The bones are taking on flesh. The bones are walking. The bones are speaking. Now is the time. The black man's place in the sun is renewed. Liberation in our lifetime. Peace be upon you.
I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy that you were able to protect your ancestors. And I'm very happy because you have done what we as American Indians are doing today, and that's reclaiming that part of our history, reclaiming that part of our ancient way through learning. We're turning this tragedy into a learning experience. And we're reaching out. We're learning about our Lord we lived 6,000 years ago. 4,000 years before Christianity, we were still here worshiping the same God that they preach to and they pray to, and we'll meet eventually today, right? The same one. So I'm here to represent the Native American people that were here and will continue to be here, and we're going to live side by side. We have already proven we can have a rainbow coalition that goes back 300 years, And as long as we respect each other's rights, the right to follow the ways of your ancestors, the right to provide alternatives for your children, then we're going to be together and we're going to walk hand in hand into the 91st century together. And I think that's the type of unity that we ought to teach to our children, not only in this institution, but others in public schools, that our history is entwined with our future too.
And indeed, history is in the making right here on the campus of Howard University as we celebrate the 126th commencement exercises here on main campus in Green Stadium. I'm Gail Jessup.
We couldn't have had a better day on which to celebrate it. Not only is the sun out, it's a cool morning here, so nobody's going to be passing out from heat shock here. It's a wonderful day, and I was surprised that the football field I thought was so much larger than the quad, and already the stands are filling up on both sides of the football field. If you're thinking of coming down here, you better leave home now, even if you're close to here, because these stands are filling up very quickly if you have loved ones who are about to graduate.
Listen to all the joy and celebration in the crowd. People are screaming, people are excited. We're getting excited. Oh my gosh, it's
Listen
really
to the
wonderful.
screaming in the background.
That's our camera back there. That's what's going on.
As they pass through.
Everybody knows how to show off for a camera.
Waving those degrees, a picture of happiness today. This is a day that most of these young people will remember. We did talk about my son earlier, but I also want to mention a few other coincidences taking place today. My best friend from college, who's Then my friend says my first year in undergrad school, his son graduates from the School of Engineering today. My best friend's name is Terry Edwards. His son, he and his wife Joanne Edwards' son Malcolm is graduating today from the School of Engineering, and he happens to be my son's best friend. So.
Oh, that's great. And they'll marry twins. Well, congratulations to your best friend.
I also have a very old friend who I grew up with in Guyana, South America, who has both a daughter and son graduating from Howard today. How interesting it must be. How pleasing to have siblings graduating together on the same day.
It's over. It's finished.
The sibling rivalry hopefully is over at this point, but we know better than that. It'll probably continue all the way into their old age. But look once again at the picture of happiness that we see here today. It's not about the professors, it's not about the staff, it's not about the radio station, it's not about the television station.
It's about the graduates.
It's about these young people today. We just happen to be the medium.
That's true.
That's bringing them to you. But it's all about them. Look at their faces.
And we really are so happy for everyone and their parents. And it's true. It is one of the happiest days of your life. And it is, in fact, a beginning, a true beginning, commencement. Is that Constance Cannon I see there?
I can't tell for sure. I see so many people.
And we just wish all the best for everyone. We're happy that the burden is over for the parents, Kojo.
Oh, yes. At least for the time being, even though these burdens nowadays tend to go on into graduate school and postgraduate work and the like.
Well, and medical schools is going to hurt a little bit.
Oh, no question. I suspect it'll hurt me a little bit.
It's worth it because you'll help thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
There is my son, Katema, on the screen right now. We have finally found him. The serious one chewing gum is Katema at this point, and I am indeed proud of him.
I can't believe that's Katema. I can't believe how he's grown.
But you know, there was a time when he had dreadlocks, and most of our staff members remembered him with dreadlocks. So when he showed up here earlier today with cap and gown, they were going like, who is he, Coach? I don't remember him.
But he's like you, taking it all in stride, isn't he?
Yes.
He's so cool.
He's also bigger than I am. I'm now the smallest person in my family, so I have to speak with him with great respect. But I guess this is an appropriate time for us to remind you that Howard University is the capstone of black education in America, and this might also be an appropriate time for us to show you why your children and your relatives should be coming to Howard University. Here is why.
Hello, I'm Franklin Jennifer, president of Howard University. I should note that Howard University is also my alma mater, for I graduated from this great institution many years ago. Howard University is one of those great institutions that trains not only scholars, but also leaders. It has been a history of Howard University to ensure that every young man and woman who comes to this great institution leaves inculcated with the values of a great institution and a great ancestry. I hope that as you look at this tape, you will be aware of the great legacy that it shows.
One of the things that makes it special is the legacy. Right. Being on the same grounds that Frederick Douglass walked on, and Charles Drew, and our own mayor, first black woman mayor of D.C., Sharon Pratt Dixon. Being part of that legacy is very special.
I think of Thurgood Marshall, who attended Howard's Law. I think of Douglas Wilder, David Dinkins.
Hey, I can add 2 more to that list. My sister, Debbie Allen, and me, Felicia Rashad. Like the others, we graduated from Howard University, part of a tradition that began more than 120 years ago in Washington, D.C. Howard University was founded to educate former slaves and their descendants. The university is named in honor of General Oliver Otis Howard, a Civil War officer and one of its key founders. In 1926, Dr. Mordecai Wyatt Johnson became the university's first black president. Through his efforts and those who succeeded him, Howard built its reputation as a first-class institution of higher learning. Today, Howard is a predominantly black comprehensive university. It has grown from a single-frame building to a main campus of more than 89 acres, with several other area campuses. Students come here from all over the globe to take part in more than 200 different areas of undergraduate and graduate study. A dedicated faculty is the backbone of any great institution, and Howard employs more than 2,000 men and women with doctorate and professional degrees. In fact, Howard has the largest concentration of black scholars of any school in the world.
The name of this class is Fluid Mechanics, and we just deal with different scenarios of fluids. The teachers have helped me out a great deal. And whatever the teachers can't take of, there are a lot of students that are willing to help you out. And that's important, definitely in engineering, because you have to work together on a lot of projects.
A science career will be able to make you use your talents. There are millions of dollars to be made on a better plastic. There are millions of dollars to be made on a better cure. And it goes on and on and on. We believe that our particular program is very competitive. I am very proud of these students.
Howard University believes in providing learning beyond the classroom. Students work in a variety of jobs at training facilities such as Howard University Hospital, which first opened its doors in 1975. The Howard University Inn, a full-service hotel and learning laboratory for students in hotel management. WHUR-FM, one of the top-rated commercial radio stations in the Washington metropolitan area, and WHMM-TV, the first public television station owned and operated by a predominantly black university.
Well, Howard University has a lot of privileges that other schools do not, especially people in communications, because we have the facilities here to come in and get this experience, and a lot of people don't.
You got that? And stay on the outside of the arrows, all right?
Sometimes we have to come in at 7 a.m. Like this morning, it's 7, it's a rainy day. I could be in my bed sleeping. But no, I choose to be here because this is what I want to learn.
When you think of Washington, D.C., several images come to mind. Power, influence, tradition, cultural diversity. Howard students can actually watch sessions of Congress, see historic decisions handed down by the Supreme Court, and use the vast resources of the Library of Congress. Fun for Howard University students ranges from working out on the dance floor at some of the city's hottest night spots to hanging out on campus, reading The Hilltop, one of the largest black student newspapers in the country. Howard University is as well known for its tight-knit sense of community as its academic curriculum. Howard students get involved, and with over 150 student organizations, it's easy to see why. What will you choose? The university choir? Religious organizations? Fraternities? Sororities? Athletics? The Blackburn University Center is the focal point of campus life. You can pick up a strike or a spare in the bowling alley, or grab a snack with friends. You could play a game of pool, or ping pong, or even fight imaginary battles on a video screen. Visions have become realities for thousands of Howard University students who've passed through these gates. To become part of this tradition, come see us and discover the endless possibilities.
At Howard, you get a sense of who you are, of culture. I think in many other colleges you wouldn't get that.
Students should choose Howard University because it's a good school. All programs are good. Whatever you want to go into, you can get good training here. We've got competent and more than capable instructors. And even more importantly, you're going to come in contact with people here who are going to encourage you and nurture not only your academic growth, but your professional and spiritual growth as well.
Howard University and why you and yours should attend it. In case you're just joining us, well, tut. But this is the 126th commencement of Howard University. I'm Coach Onambi.
I'm Gail Jessup, and there's a lot ahead. In fact, the entire commencement is ahead. We've been spending the morning talking about Howard University university and the accomplishments of the university, about the student body, about the wonderful and happy parents today, whose students, whose children, whose offspring are graduating. Coach Onamde is among those proud parents. Also graduating today is the first woman doctoral candidate to receive a degree from, or a doctoral degree from the engineering schools. There's Dorothy Hyde,
of the National Council of Negro Women, on hand for the occasion.
Great to see her here. Additionally, there's a 22-year-old graduating from the med school today.
22 years old, and I thought that Doogie Howser was fiction. It appears that this is reality here at Howard University. That young man should be going on to a successful career, as are all of these hollering, screaming, happy feet students that we have around here today that you're watching on your screen right now, all happy graduates.
You know, Coach O, the kente cloth has become so common at commencement exercises, it's almost redundant to mention it, but I can't help it. It's so beautiful, and it's certainly a symbol of the pride of graduating from the world's premier, predominantly black university.
It certainly is, and Howard University has such a long tradition of graduating first in so many fields. It continues that tradition today.
We should also mention, this is not the young man, but there's a 23-year-old graduating from the dental school today.
Well, he can check my teeth anytime, because I know he's good.
Howard University does indeed attract so many different types of people. There's so many people who moved through the university. It's much more than an educational center. It's also a cultural center.
I'll tell you, my sons were born and grew up in Washington, and they expressed surprise, maybe even shock, that when they came to Howard University, what they saw was not a lot of Washingtonians. What they saw were people from all over the country and people from other countries. Howard University is one of the most international universities in the world, and they felt, despite the fact that we live about 5 blocks away from Howard University, that they had stepped into another world, and it helped to broaden their horizons significantly.
So you never had to spend expenses sending them abroad?
Right, that's true. They came abroad by walking 5 blocks away from home.
But that's great, but it is, in fact, you're absolutely right. All joking aside, it is an international campus. People come here from all over the world. It's renowned. It's engineering school, the law school, the med school, of course, the School of Communications. How many, universities in the country have a television station where students actually get hands-on experience?
And a radio station.
And a radio station. And students who leave here from the School of Communications and the other schools and colleges in the university. But I can address effectively the School of Communications because I know those young people go on to professional jobs, excellent jobs in the communications field in television. You see them at BET, you see them at Channel 8.
I see them as managers of radio stations in New York.
It's true. As a matter of fact, a Pulitzer Prize was just won by one of our graduates, Wilkerson, who was in school when I was here. New York Times writer, so we excel.
They do very well. But as you know, diversity here is not only among students, but among the speakers who are attracted to the campus of Howard University. And there has been some controversy over that, but there is, as we said, a great deal of diversity among speakers. And we're going to have you take a look at a few more of the speakers who have graced the university's campus over the years.
Actually, the faculty is coming in now.
Oh, I see.
So we're proceeding along very nicely. There's one of our students.
Sure is. We go to the same barbershop, as a matter of fact. I see him in the barbershop. It's good to see him graduate.
Yeah.
Gene Roberts is his name.
It's family here today. Congratulations to him. When you start talking about you use the same barber, you know it's family.
It is. It is. Here you can see the faculty sporting their caps and gowns representing the universities and the specific specialties that they graduated in.
The moments we should be seeing the president.
Any minute now.
And of course our guest speaker, General Colin Powell.
I'm just enjoying viewing it so much I don't even feel the need to talk. This is the 126th commencement of Howard University. For those of you who may just tuning in, that is the faculty in the procession now advancing towards the stage. If you can hear, as well as we can hear, the noise in the background, you have probably guessed by now that this is an extremely joyous occasion for just about everybody who's participating in it.
I'd like to mention at this point that there are some young people receiving certificates today from the School of Nursing who are actually homeless, women who are homeless, who have matriculated through the nursing department and will actually be employed, and of course we hope eventually find their way into a home, a place to live. It's part of a $700,000 program sponsored by the School of Nursing to help homeless people earn a way of living and a way of life, and congratulations to them.
You know, the assumption tends to be that people who are homeless because they've either been deprived of an education or because they're mentally disabled. We often forget that a lot of people are impoverished either by losing jobs or simply by having more children than their incomes are able to support, and that they have the education and the ability to be educated that the rest of us have. This School of Nursing program proves that beyond a reasonable doubt. I, for one, would hope we see a lot more of that, not only at Howard University, but around the country.
I agree with you. Hopefully this program will serve as a model to other universities and schools and programs across the country.
We talked about variety. We looked at the variety of faculty members here. There are white faculty members, of course predominantly black faculty members with dreadlocks that you see here. You do see variety on the campus of Howard University.
Well, that's what the university is all about, all universities. This one in particular, a learning experience. We're open to everyone. We're diversified.
It's been
Let no one tell you otherwise. Coach O, you're such a learned person. I have a lot of respect for you. Would you please explain to us what we're seeing?
I don't know exactly what that is. It seems to be a symbol of the university. It is not the mace, because if it was the mace, Dr. Gary Harris would be carrying it, because the mace is carried by the university marshal. This is another symbol of the university, and I'm sure some of the more knowledgeable among us will soon explain to me exactly what it is, and as soon as I get that, I'll pass it on.
Mike is going to check on that for us. He's saying it may be the mace of the medical school. I don't know. I'll ask my husband.
Thank you very much, because, you know, Mike Nelson is often wrong. No, I'm sorry. Mike's usually right. Interestingly enough, the only procession is not the procession of graduates, faculty, and board of trustees. The larger procession that you're not seeing is the procession of people entering the stadium to view these proceedings, the procession of loved ones, friends, colleagues, and frankly, just plain curiosity seekers.
It's true.
Who are just here. They have been pouring in for the last 2.5 hours here onto the stadium at Howard University.
Every year, the commencement exercises attracts its number of celebrities, too. We've already seen Dorothy Height, and I'm sure there are many, many others. When I proceeded through Howard 5-6 short years ago,
That's right.
Stevie Wonder was here. What a thrill that was.
Oh, yeah. You know, one of the things about being in Washington is that so many Howard University graduates who become elected officials or appointed officials of administrations as they change from Democrat to Republican, so many Howard University graduates are here in town, and they take the opportunity to come to the alma mater for commencement and other activities. And on a day like this, who can blame them?
It's the place to be.
It is the place to be today. Indeed, here's a partial list of some of the distinguished alumni of Howard University. Thurgood Marshall, the first black Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Edward Brooke, the first black U.S. Senator elected by popular vote. Dr. Charles Drew, pioneer developer of blood plasma and surgeon. Ralph Bunche, scholar, UN Nobel Peace Prize in 1950. And Alan Locke, the first black American Rhodes Scholar. Just a few of the people to graduate from Howard University. Not to mention, of course, current members of the Board of Trustees, such as former Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder, who was being mentioned as a possible president of Howard University to replace Dr. Jennifer, but who has made it clear that at this point he is not interested in being president of the university. Of course, he is looking into the possibility of being the U.S. Senator from Virginia at this point.
Well, we'll take Dougie Fresh, as I affectionately call him, any way he'd like to come. We'd love to have him at the university. We'd love to have him in the U.S. Senate. Even though I'm not a resident of Virginia, I think it'd be great for the country.
Not to exclude the possibility of running for president, which he tried once before. He threw his hat in the ring briefly in 1990. Obviously, that's something he's considering again. And our guest commencement speaker today, Colin Powell, is also being considered for this position. Well, the procession is over. We're about to start. The invocation for today's commencement will be delivered by Bernard L. Richardson, the Dean of the Andrew Rankin Chapel. And that's soon going to happen.
A little more pomp and circumstance, which of course we'll enjoy.
Yes, we are enjoying the pomp and circumstance.
It wells you up inside, at least me every time I hear it.
You know, once this thing starts, it moves apace. The voice you'll be hearing in the background is the voice of Al Freeman, who will be doing the announcements today, and of course you know him from television.
Exactly. He's a star in his own right. He is a star, and I think that were it not for, I'm loath to bring it up now, but now that I've opened Pandora's box, were it not for Hollywood and the racism that existed in Hollywood at the time, he would have been an even greater star.
But you know, he is another kind of star here on the campus. We were commenting on this yesterday. He has become a star in his own right for the amount of time and service he puts in with the students. You can come to this campus at virtually any time and you'll see Al Freeman day or night working with students in the fine arts or in the Ira Aldrich Theater or in the studios of WHMM. He's always working with students full time. And what interests me about somebody who has had as brilliant a television and movie career as he has is the man has a voice that was born for radio. He could have had a great career in radio. And you'll hear some of that voice today during the course of the announcements.
A lot of people would remember him most recently from Spike Lee's film, Malcolm X.
Everybody thought he should have won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Hollywood is changing, but slowly.
Yes. Remember we mentioned earlier about the diversity of speakers who come here to Howard University? Well, before we get the invocation, let's get the treat of that diversity from some of the speakers here.
I applied to Howard because I wanted to get involved in the civil rights movement that was unfolding and growing. Indians throughout that year on that subcontinent, and especially followers of Gandhi, had asked Claire and me, what have you done about the denial of the right to vote for black Americans? Or more sharply, they would say, have you ever gone to jail in protest against segregation laws in your country? And I hadn't done anything. I had in fact been in Selma, Alabama and Craig Field for 19 months in the Air Corps and had gone often into town in Selma and had never seen the black community of Selma, only 3 blocks off the big paved Main Street, Broad Street. I had never recognized the fact that it was a 2/3 black county that I'd been in for 19 months. That's how blind I was, and I didn't want to be blind anymore. So I felt lucky to be admitted on short notice to the law school that was then the academic center of the decades-long legal battle to end segregation in America. And luckier still to be there in the early 1950s for some of the dry-run arguments the night before the great Supreme Court cases were argued by the NAACP teams. Thurgood Marshall would come down from New York.
Now the color guard is entering.
And that's the mace we talked about.
There's
and that's
the mace,
Dr. Gary
University
Harris,
mace.
the University Marshal. The mace is simply a stick with a ball on the end of it. It's the ceremonial symbol of the university, originally used to symbolize the presence of kingly authority. It was seen as early as 1363 BC in King Tut's time. It was later used by medieval warriors for breaking armor during a battle. At that time, the mace was a heavy staff or club made wholly or partly of metal. At today's commencements, the entry of the mace heralds the arrival of the academic procession.
It's ode to the common man. Here's Colin Powell. We see Colin Powell coming in now. Colin Powell is entering now.
Indeed, yes.
The vice presidents.
Yes. Preceded by General Colin Powell.
I should say the university vice presidents are coming in.
This is the cabinet of Dr. Franklin Jennifer. Of course, on campus there is, as always, wild speculation about who's going to be the next president of Howard University, but that's up to the Board of Trustees, and truth be told, nobody really knows for sure at this point.
Have you any guesses at all? You have your antennae out.
I don't have any guesses. My best guess was Douglas Wilder, and you know what happened to that. There, General Colin Powell, former chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who will receive an award and be today's commencement keynote speaker.
There was some speculation, actually, that Dr. James Cheek, who's being honored today, may come back to the university as president. That is, I dare say, rumor. That
Throw it in there. Throw it in the hopper with the rest of the speculation. We'll spin it around a few times and see what happens. Of course, Dr. Cheek served the second longest term here at Howard University, the longest being 36 years. Dr. Cheek served 20 years as president of Howard University.
I guess Mordecai Johnson served
36 years. Between the two of them, 56 years at the helm of Howard University.
An A in math for you.
That'll be a first, that's for sure.
And there's Dr. Jennifer.
There's Dr. Jennifer.
His last year here. We'll miss him.
Yep. He's going to be the first black president of the University of Texas at Dallas, a smaller campus than the campus of Howard University, but a campus which has never been graced by a black president before. Dr. Jennifer, of course, came to us from Massachusetts, where he was the head of the higher education system in that state, and he was being considered for a while for being the head of the higher education system in the state of Georgia. But that was not to be. Instead, he will take up residence in Dallas, Texas, and become a Dallas Cowboys fan.
He's always going to be a Redskins fan. He's a native Washingtonian, after all.
He should.
And in fact, a Howard University grad himself.
Well, he won't mention in Dallas that he's a Redskins fan. He might not survive.
I'm sure that, in a way, this is a sad day for him.
I'm sure it is. Acting as president of the university for at least the next 30 days is Dr. Joyce Ladner, who is officially the vice president for academic affairs and an individual. You see her in the background there. She is more than capable of performing the task.
There's Dr. Jennifer's wife, here with her husband, lending support, taking part in all the festivities.
And their last commencement as president of the university. I'm sure
Indeed,
he'll be back for more.
I'm sure. There's Dr. James Cheek.
Dr. Cheek. He looks younger than he did.
He does. I didn't recognize him. It took me a second.
With a beard. See what a few years of rest can do for you? Indeed. He looks relaxed,
He does.
rested, and ready.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Time will tell, to use a hackneyed journalist term. Here we are.
And the voice, of course, that of Al
Please
Finger
remain
Jr.
standing for the posting of the colors. Present the colors.
Tell us more.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Howard University, Dr. Franklin G. Jennifer.
Members of the Board of Trustees, General Powell, Ambassador Annenberg, Dr. Cheek, other honored guests, faculty, staff, administration, and alumni colleagues, families and friends of the graduates, and most especially the graduating class of 1994. Let us open this 126th commencement convocation, all of us, with a resounding cheer for the class of 1994. Today, we celebrate your individual and collective achievements that have brought you to this place at this time. You have demonstrated that you have worked hard, persevered, and above all, kept your eye on the prize. Today, we pay tribute to your parents and other family members and friends whose love, support, yes, sacrifices kept you focused on that prize. We pay tribute as well to the teachers, the counselors, the librarians, and others here at this university who guided you, who prodded you, and nurtured you so well. Graduates, as you know so well, commencement is a time of joy, but it is also a time of sadness. Joy because you are delighted to have passed such an important milestone in your lives. Sadness because you're going to be bidding farewell to a place that you've come to regard as home, and to those who have shared the unique Howard experience